Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 6 of the GT3 Championship. You join myself and McToasty at Ruapuna Park. Here he is. Immortalis takes that top spot. He is going to be on the, well, I believe it'll be the inside into turn 1, but I'll double check that when we go to track. Waj is in second, but he's got a grid place still to serve, so that'll probably swap round. So he's probably going to be in third. BlankFile in second. Bruce is going to be sitting in fourth place, just outside the top 3 in that Ginetta. I wonder whether the Ginetta has had brilliant starts all season, so I wonder whether he can surprise us and get something done in the first sort of, 3, 4 corners. We'll be keeping a close eye on him. He has Linga Bazinga for company in 5th, Mays in 6th in that Mercedes, and you watch, he'll have a horrible start now. He's done practicing, he's used all his practice buttons, start buttons up. Flush is in 7th in that R8, a good outing from him. Much further up the grid than what we're used to seeing, so hopefully this is the week we see a good result from him. Snarling down in 8th place, not as high as we've normally seen him compete, but still work to do. Chris down in 9th in that white and pink Lamborghini. Jack rounds out the top 10 in that blue and red Ferrari. He has Dr. Potford in the yellow Ferrari for company. CDN in 12th in that blue and orange. McGann, to be honest, I'm surprised to see it that high up. The McGann, not a favourable pick normally, but CDN is obviously making it work for him. Tibby in his brand new Ferrari in 13th place. Luke Snipes just outside of company's teammate. I'm sure they would love to be side by side. He's going to be in 14th place. Green Gaming in 15th in that chrome and green Z4, and he has out-qualified Survivor, which is unusual. Survivor's had a good pace for the last couple of weeks in that Z4, so wonder what's going on down there. So 2 minutes of tinker time. Keep a note of that one on your notepads, lads. We'll see who comes out with bragging rights at the end of that. So green lights are out, and we are away at a great start from BlankFile that takes that place away from Immortalis immediately. And Bruce Law is absolutely flying down the outside. Looks like he's just not able to get his nose ahead of Waj just yet. But he's going to hang on to the outside and follow BlankFile all the way round. And Maze looks like he collects the back of Waj. That is going to be a Stu's inquiry, definitely. Waj getting a little squirrely on the exit of 1. Bruce able to keep it together. He's going to be careful of that Mercedes on the inside into 3. Linga Bazinga coming up through 6th. Flush has held on to 7th. Looks like everyone else is relatively stayed put. CDN has fallen back behind Luke, and another little bump there from Linga on Bruce. Mays forcing himself through. The awfully pushy and shovey as everyone finds the measure of each other. Obviously the high fuel loads, cold tyres are playing a massive effect, so let's just try and catch out where we are now. Chris coming under pressure from Dr. Potford a little bit. Luke also applying the pressure on Aston in the back. He has Flush for company, who's gone backwards. He qualified up in 7th, so maybe a little incident or a wobble from him. First lap jitters. Here comes Snarling on the inside into the S's. Great move from him. Looks like Immortalis has got that move back from BlankFile, so apologies for missing that. We've got action everywhere. Looks like these two have pulled out about a 2-second gap, to Waj in 3rd. So looks like they're finding a rhythm nice and early. Mays has in the back of that BMW. Mays has had a bit of a rough start. We saw him bump Waj into turn 1 on the opening lap. Let's see if he can not repeat that feat this time round. He gets late on the brakes. It looks like Waj has a little lock up. Maybe giving Mays the run down into turn 2. It looks like he hasn't quite got the horses, so Waj is going to hang on to that for another go. Maybe Mays is going to have a go under braking here into the inside of this hairpin. He isn't, so they are going to stay put for the time being. Bruce lurking around in the background. I'll be worried of that if I were them two, if they're going to carry on fighting like this. See Linga getting on the outside of Jack into the S's here. He's going to have the inside line if he can make it stick. Jack covers it off. Linga tries to force to the outside now, unable to get his nose in the right place just yet. Jack probably going to recover the inside off. He doesn't, but Linga's too far back, switches back to the line, probably going to take the run. Or he doesn't, he gets Jack offline on the exit. That's a brilliant move. Right on Linga. He should be able to drag race and keep up in that McLaren down into turn 1 and get this done under braking. Brake just a little bit later, force Jack to the outside. It looks like that Ferrari's got more legs than I gave it credit for. Great defensive drive from Jack. Super brave. Good trust from both drivers there to not just punt each other off and keep in turn 3. They're sort of driving as one car. You can throw a blanket over the pair of them. They should jump forwards a little bit. It looks like BlankFile unable to get into an overtaking position just yet. The timing board's telling a few fibs. Chris, Dr. Potford and Snarling are starting to form their own little train. And as I say that, Linger looks like he got around the outside into turn 3. Jack should have this covered on braking into the UMR corner though, and he does. Covers off the inside so Linger can't get back underneath. Great defensive driving from him. Great offensive driving from Linger to get around the outside of 3. That's a very brave move. A lot of trust in the guy he's racing against. And as you can see from Linger, he's trying to get his nose just offline so he can pull Jack off of line, trying to make that gap, which is why you're seeing him sort of jink in, jink out. You can see it more there. He's trying to get Jack to make a move. Lost a little bit of time to BlankFile. We saw a lead develop up to about 1.3 and that's dropped down to about 3/10 again now, so BlankFile getting back on pace. It looks like he's really in position to start hassling Immortalis. I'm sure he's a little bit too far back to get it done under braking now. But we'll stick with it as we saw Linger go around the outside into turn 3 just here. I don't know if BlankFile's going to be quite as brave just yet. Looks like that gap's a little bit too big. Immortalis now behind Jack into turn 1. He has Mays, Chris, Snarling and Linger. And we've got Dr. Potford is probably on the back of this train as well. This is the action we want up the top. So Chris in that white pink Lamborghini looks like he's going to make a move into turn 1 on Mays. Mays defending really hard. That was a bold move from both drivers there. That's going to let Snarling and Linger get through, and maybe Dr. Potford, if he can get a move on, looks like he's maybe slightly too far back. It looks like that blue flag has given just enough of a run on for Linger to have a little sniff into turn 1. Looks like Jack's Ferrari is going to out-drag it, and he looks like he's much braver on the brakes and covers the inside. Great effort from Jack to get all of that done in under braking as well. Little flash of the lights there, probably an acknowledgement, as they both managed to do it without having a crash. That's fantastic driving from the pair of them. Jack still with Linger with company, so that's understandable. Wadge has ended up in that little, he's sort of been in third from the start of the race and has had no one really bother him. He's been in sort of his own little personal bubble. Oh, we see him. Was that a little touch in the exit of the S's? Mays is hassling the back of Snarling. Snarling has been under pressure before through this race and done well to keep it clean and together. We've seen Mays has had a little bit of a elbows out, a little bit too much this race, so he will likely be in the steward's room having a little bit telling. We see him touching doors with Snarling there. Snarling didn't quite close the door under braking, and it looks like Mays is going to hang on to that. Snarling runs wide on the exit.
It looks like Snarling might have hit the wall after that contact with Mays. His front end of the car looks a little damaged.
This is the closest fight on track at the minute, so we will stick with it. Linger in 6th, Immortalis 7th, Snarling 8th. I think really these three haven't left each other alone. I haven't been too far away from each other all race long. No matter how far up the track they get, they always seem to end up bunching back together not too long afterwards. So great for us to watch. We get to see some brilliant close action racing, but probably frustrations are probably running high in both McLarens, definitely that Ferrari. Just skipping forward just a little bit, just to give ourselves something a little bit different to look at for the minute. It is now Jack's turn to defend again against Mays Gamer. He's been hanging on to that 4th spot as if his life depended on it. We've seen Mays be a little bit heavy-handed in some overtakes previous, so maybe he has the winning formula to get it done on Jack. As you see him getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of those S's there, and looks like he's not going to get anything done just yet. That Ferrari will have a much better horsepower sort of ratio compared to the AMG than that McLaren did. We've seen him overtake previous, so you won't just be able to just pull up and drive round, and as we've seen, Jack has been driving brilliantly today. And whilst I said that, I think it just popped up on my timing board that Bruce is now within a second of Blank, just for a brief second there. So 3 minutes 40 seconds to go, so 3, maybe 4 laps left to do here, and it is all starting to heat up. Let's get up the front as the cameraman just orientates himself a little bit. There is Bruce Law, and that is BlankFile just coming through turn 3, and you can see how close that gap is now. Great shot coming down into the Ewan Mark corner. Not sure whether Bruce has just been putting in better lap times, and whilst we've been focusing on other action, he's been chipping away at it, or whether there's a little bit of a mistake from BlankFile. 57 seconds left to go. We're going to stay with BlankFile to the end. I think there's going to be one more lap to go after this one, so Bruce running out of time if he is going to get it done. I fear it could be a second place finish for him. Bruce can't afford to overextend, make a mistake and lose out by picking up damage or fouling one of the sector gates or any sort of number of incidents, because he can't afford to lose any points really to Wadge either. The Blank, Bruce and Wadge are all in the top 3 in the standings as well. BlankFile comes around the final corner. Looks like he has got it done. A great drive from him. Saw him get round Immortalis nice and early on the outside in the opening laps. Brilliant drive from him. Bruce comes along home in second. Another brilliant drive from him. Unable just to get it done in the final stages, which is a shame. It looks like Wadge has held on to that third place. He got hold of it really early in the race and just hasn't let go. Hasn't pushed himself to try and keep up with Blank and Bruce, but has been quick enough to not be troubled by anyone else behind him. So great drive from him. He'll be happy with that one. Mays comes home in 4th for the time being, but obviously we've got a few time penalties still to resolve, and I think the stewards will be having a little look at him as well. Looks like Linger just made it past Jack, went all the time into Sed and John. Jack falls even further down behind Immortalis, so maybe quite a hefty penalty for him. We won't see when the timing board comes up. Starling gets home in 8th place in the end. We saw him up at 4th at one point, but he made contact with Mays, I believe it was. Or was that Linger? It was one of the McLarens. So much action, I can't keep track of it all. Dr. Potford coming up the start-finish line in his yellow Ferrari in 9th place. CDN in that McGann has proved me wrong, to be fair. He comes home in 10th place. Good first outing for him. So BlankFile comes home in 1st place, and it looks like Mays Gamer with the fastest lap at 19.9. So BlankFile in 1st. Bruce comes home in 2nd. Mays Gamer in 3rd with the fastest lap point for him. In 4th place, we've got Wadge. So Wadge actually with quite a large time penalty just fell out right at the end. I didn't expect to see a time penalty quite that big. These have mixed the whole finishing order up. So Mays gets a podium position, Wadge in 4th, Linger Bazinga in 5th, Immortalis in 6th. Jack comes home in 7th after finishing the line in 4th. Shame to see a 7-second penalty for him. He's going to be unhappy with that one. Snarling hangs on to 8th place. Dr. Potford in 9th. He kept it clean. Good drive from him. CDN rounds out the top 10 in that McGann with only 2-second penalty. Good drive from him too. Chris comes home in 11th in that white and pink Lamborghini. Survivor sorts that Z4 out once again and comes home in 12th. Flush falls back down to 13th. We saw a good start from him. Maybe he's made a couple of mistakes or got involved in a few too many battles and has dropped back just a little bit. Green Gaming ends up coming home in 14th, and Luke rounds out the grid in 15th in that brand new McGann, and Tibby was our retiree. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for round 6 of the GT3s at Flux Motorsport. That is all from us at Flux Motorsport TV for tonight. Thank you and good night.